They hated Jesus, they hated Charlie, and it's about time that the world hates all of us too. Exposure is our weapon and it's time to wield it. Are you with me? Good. Let's start with Mayor Lauren McLean. But we're called to test everything against God's word. This isn't just politics, it's spiritual warfare. We deserve leaders who fear God, not those who align with the wishes of the Baphomet. Lauren McLean not only needs to be removed from office immediately, she should be held in a mental institution or behind bars. We will be exposing evil people like Lauren McLean in the name of Jesus Christ. And if you know of anybody who is in any kind of a leadership position in Idaho, you can tip us off and we will dig into it and expose them.
People of all sorts of beliefs come here. This isn't a predominantly Bible-thumping town, you know. This has always been a place where you help your neighbor no matter what they look like, no matter what language they speak, no matter what church they go to. You know, you just help the person in the aisle next to you, and I still would, you know. I disagree with them. I like to poke at them, but passed a resolution making the pride flag an official city flag. So it gets to stay hanging.
May the blessings of the Lord be upon you.
You're a clown. You're a clown, David Pettinger.
This lawless flag
Where's your Nazi
that
uniform?
stands here with Mayor McLean,
Where's your swastika?
the unclean
Sorry, I
McLean,
don't want to interrupt him.
who brings sin and debauchery upon the people of this great city. What are we to do?
Where's this Nazi uniform?
What are we to do
There you go.
when our law enforcement,
This is what happens
when our city officials, when they fail us?
He is lighting the LGBTQ flag on fire on a cross. This guy is lighting the flag on fire. This shit ain't Boise right here. This guy isn't even from here, I swear to
Burn
God.
yourself. Burn yourself. Burn yourself.
Council President.
I appreciate Councilmember Willard's comments. She's a great example of disagreeing respectfully, and I appreciate her friendship and her work on this council. I want to take a chance, get a little personal, and I hope I can trust you all. About 15 years ago, I was recently married, and I had a secret. And in retrospect, the secret was very small and dumb, but when you're young and 20, and it felt very big and it felt very weighty. And sometimes I would drive home, I had a long commute along the highway, and I would just wonder, like, what if another car just hit me? And I wouldn't have to talk about this. I wouldn't have to bring this up with my family, and I wouldn't have to deal with the consequences of what I felt were a pretty big deal. And it was a really hard time in my life. Eventually got out of it with great support from my lovely wife. And I'm not gay, but there are so many folks that live lives of quiet desperation every single day in our community who carry with them a secret. And it's a secret that they think if they tell an employer, they lose their job. They think if they tell a landlord, they lose their house. They think if they tell a parent that they're going to lose a strong support network. And I can empathize with that. And I know that there are other people driving to and from work all the time that feel the way I felt. What if another car what if I just went right off the road? What if another car came and got me and I wouldn't have to deal with this thing? And I just hope just once that the city of Boise's flag, that someone will see that and know that they are not alone, that there are people here that will support them, wrap their arms around them, and let them know that choosing to live and choosing to live authentically is something that you can do in the city of Boise. Every day, we're in a fight against erasure, whether it's calling back civil rights progress, whether it's just even acknowledging the existence of gay and trans people in public society. And the city of Boise is not going to be a party to that erasure. And that's what the pride flag represents to me, and it's why I sponsored this resolution to memorialize it today. And I would just also add, a lot of folks are here for and against the pride flag, but the legislation attempts to be neutral on messaging. And we think about all the other different messages that we exclude, important things that we don't want our government to be neutral on when we go after one specific flag. Just this past month, Councilmember Stead and I raised an organ donation awareness flag. And that and so many other messages are important things that we want to advocate for because they affect people that we love very, very closely. And I would just ask you to consider that and what kind of messages you're willing to exclude from public spaces, assuming new legislation advances. So I just thank everybody for coming out tonight for or against, and thank you for being respectful here tonight. And I love this city, and I love you all.
You know, if you asked me a year ago what would be a topic of conversation in 2025 for months on end, I don't think any of us would say the flag. To be clear, the city has been flying the pride flag, supporting our LGBTQ plus community for over 10 years with very little fuss. It wasn't until House Bill 96 was enacted that spurred this divisive discussion within the city and has placed a lot of strain on resources both within the city and at the county. I've received a lot of public comment on the flag, most of which was respectful and overwhelmingly was in support. Support of human rights and support of love for all our residents. The pride flag to me represents the diversity and resilience of our LGBTQ plus community and serves as a beacon of acceptance and solidarity. By officially adopting the flag, the message is that discrimination on any level has no place in our city and that every individual is valued and supported. The city of Boise has a long-standing tradition of upholding principles of inclusivity and non-discrimination. House Bill 96 isn't policy, it's an attempt at censorship and discrimination. Our flag stands for people, not politics. The pride flag is a symbol of belonging, and in Boise, everyone deserves to belong. And I'll be voting for the resolution tonight.
Sure. I'm going to obviously be supporting the motion. I second it. Over the past few days, I've received a good number of messages regarding the flags that fly at City Hall, and I want to take a moment to acknowledge that feedback and also offer some important clarification. We're not replacing the city flag with a pride flag. This action is a matter of legal compliance, a necessary step as I see it to ensure that we align with the state law regarding flag displays on public buildings. In essence, nothing is changing about our values or our traditions that we've honored for more than a decade. We will simply be formalizing the practices that have long been a part of our city's identity. In recent years, flags have become a symbol for a broad array of causes and communities. Among them, the pride flag stands out. Not just for what it represents, but for the powerful conversations that it inspires. It is a symbol of visibility, acceptance, and dignity of our LGBTQ community. And it is a reflection of our city's heart, inclusive, compassionate, and committed to the well-being of all of our residents. The pride flag represents our neighbors, our family members, our friends, and our colleagues. These individuals contribute daily to the fabric of our city. Removing the flag now, after years of flying it proudly, would not be a neutral act. It would signal a retreat from values we've long upheld and send a disheartening message to those who have found affirmation and belonging through its presence at City Hall. Flying the pride flag is more than a gesture. It's an affirmation of who we are. It reflects our ongoing commitment to equity, diversity, and unity. Recognizing one group does not diminish others. On the contrary, it strengthens the whole by ensuring every resident knows that they are seen, valued, and supported. Let us stand firm in our shared commitment to inclusion. Let us remain united, because unity is and always will be our greatest strength as Boiseans.
Madam Mayor, thank you so much for this opportunity to talk to my fellow council members. I'll be supporting this motion for a lot of reasons. You know, it's interesting that we have folks that are, calling this divisive, that certain things cannot coexist. And when I think about those that this flag supports, I think of a group of community members, friends, family, neighbors who are marginalized. They have less rights than others in this state. I think about my faith, my church, who actually helped broker a compromise in the state of Utah that's made up a little like our state here in Idaho, that actually provided members of this community, this marginalized community, with anti-discrimination statutes, protections to be able to maintain their jobs and their homes, for their personal freedoms, their personal choices. And our state has not done that. And this has been a long time down there that they've had this, and instead we focus on divisive things like legislation that targets a flag. I would encourage our legislators that want to help diffuse and to help bring people together to consider the mutually beneficial things that we can do to provide these rights and freedoms to our family members, our neighbors, and our friends. And so when I think about divisiveness, I just don't see these polar opposite sides. I can think of numerous members of my faith community that are also represented by this flag. And I think that's really important. And for those that maybe don't have those relationships, I'd encourage you to seek out those opportunities to get to know your neighbors more. I'm grateful for all of you that came out tonight. I'm grateful for those that provided feedback, both for and against. I got a lot of respectful messages from both. And I can appreciate that there are going to be people that may not agree with this proclamation, but this proclamation allows us to fly this flag legally as the state statute was written. And so if you have a problem with that, you may need to take that up with the legislature. But I appreciate those that are here to be able to...
I'm going to, again, please let the council member finish his remarks.
And it's okay. I appreciate all of you that have been able to respectfully engage on this issue. Thank you.
First, a few words to share here, and I think the first is this is a pretty straightforward resolution. It explains what qualifies as an official flag, and it really shouldn't be surprise to anybody where I stand on this. I'm going to share a couple of stories anyway. Before I was on council, I was appointed to a task force with the previous mayor, Mayor Beater, and it was his LIVE task force. And he had a goal of making Boise the most livable city in the country. And during one of these meetings, we were discussing additional steps that we could take to make Boise a more livable community. And I remember in this meeting, there was a local business owner who'd been in town for a couple of years, and he shared a story. And the story was he was thinking about moving his business to Boise, and hundreds of jobs that would come for Idahoans that came with it. And while they were thinking about making this transition to my hometown, to the city of Boise, there was some apprehension. They had been watching the state legislature, and they'd seen some pretty bad bills getting passed that were violations of human rights. And some of his employees and he himself had some concerns about moving to Boise. People were afraid of what that might mean for their kids, what their rights be stood up for, and some apprehension. They were thinking about going somewhere else. So they came and they did a site visit to Boise. And one of the first things that they noticed when they came here, and this was at least 10 years ago, was that there was a pride flag flying at City Hall. And then later they took a trip to the Boise foothills. And when they were driving down Harrison Boulevard, they saw the street lined with pride flags. And those two things were the decisions that made them decide that this is a city where we want to move to. This is a city that aligns with the values of the people who work for us, the people that we want to recruit, and the people that we know live in Boise already and that we don't want to leave. While we were having this discussion, someone from the Chamber of Commerce spoke up and said that this was one of the #1 concerns that they were hearing from other businesses and future businesses that were considering moving to Boise. And at this meeting, I really realized two things for the very first time. And one was the statewide economic and emotional damage that comes from making individuals and families feel unsafe and unwelcome. And the second thing was the city's ability to be a beacon of hope, and the city's ability to counter that narrative, to share its values of being a welcoming place where it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what your family looks like. This is a city that's going to stand up for you, that's going to stand up for your rights, and it's going to stand up for your future. Not too long after that, I went to a scholarship ceremony, and I met this just absolutely brilliant 4.0 senior from a rural city in Idaho, and they were so excited about this scholarship to Boise State University. And I went up to them afterward and I asked them why they were so excited. And they said since they could remember, they had always wanted to live in Boise. They said they'd spent most of their life hiding who they really were, getting picked on the playground for being different. And when they came to Boise for the first time, this is what they noticed. They noticed a pride flag on City Hall steps. They noticed businesses with pride flags in their windows. They noticed bumper stickers on cars, pride bumper stickers. And they knew that this was a place where they could feel safe and a place where they would not be afraid to be. And that has stuck with me for a long time before I was on council of what this city stood for and what the flag the city was flying stood for as well. Since I've been on council, two of my best friends had a pride flag burned down on the outside of their house. A gay couple, one of them was out of town, and while the other one was sleeping, somebody lit their pride flag on fire on their house, a wood house, while they were sleeping. The next morning they woke up, I came over, and there were burn scars on the house. The flag was in ashes on the ground. And the very first thing that they did was they got another pride flag and they put it up that morning, because they knew that if they didn't stand up, that if other people didn't stand up, who was going to stand up? Who's going to stand up for these kids, like this kid that received a scholarship, for kids who maybe didn't feel welcome, and for kids who just wanted to be who they really were. So this is a pretty easy resolution for me to support, because I know what it means to me. I know what it means to my family. I know what it means to my friends. I know what it means to so many people in here. There are so many things that I love about our city. And I love that when I walk up to City Hall steps or ride up to City Hall steps, as I often do, I see an American flag, a country that I love. I see an Idaho flag, a state that I grew up in and a state that I love. I see a Boise flag, a city again that I grew up in, and that embodies everything and has inspired me to run for council and to serve alongside and collaborate with so many of you. And I see a pride flag that stands against hate, a pride flag that makes people feel welcome, that makes people feel safe. And so this is something that makes sense to me. Yep.
I'm going to ask.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask that this is time for council deliberation.
One of the things I love about the city of Boise is that people have different perspectives. They view things in different ways. But I know, as a 42-year-old heterosexual male, that I've never had to go anywhere and feel unsafe. That I've never woken up in the morning and worried about a law passed at the State House that took away my rights, that made it more dangerous for me to live in my community. I've never had to feel that before. I've always felt welcome in my community, and I always will, and you always will as well. So I think that this resolution is going to pass, and I'm excited to show up to work tomorrow to continue doing my job. And I think that everybody here, no matter where they stand on this issue, are going to wake up tomorrow and they're going to find that this is a city that is amazing. It's a city where you can feel safe. It's a city where you can feel supported, and that does not change. That flag has been flying here for 10 years, and that's not going to change today. It's not going to change tomorrow. This is always going to be a city that is safe and welcoming and amazing and tries to take care of every single person that lives in it. So I'll be voting yes.
We gotta get you out of there.
Yeah. Again, please, this is a council meeting.
We can't do it without everyone. We all have our role and we all play a part, not one greater or one less. And I am thankful for you for playing that role, for being here today, for standing up all the time, because we can't do it unless we're together, right? So let's continue to do it together. We love you. Give it up for yourself.
I do want to shout out in the room, we have our amazing, amazing Mayor, Lauren McLean.
I mean, it was every single member of the LGBTQ plus community in this season. Thank you.
To do that because she knew in no uncertain terms that every single person in this room was going to stand up and have her back. And she and the rest of the city council need you to stand by that. You need to stand by that and have their backs, because when you do that, you have the back of my daughter. You have the back of my daughter's future wife. You have the back of every single member of that community. You have the back of Emmy. You have the back of me. You have the back of Jared. You have the back of everybody who this matters. So have their backs because they have ours.
But we are also here to talk about what it means to show up for one another. And that means talking about allyship. Because if we want to see a future that is more inclusive, more just, more vibrant, then we all have to be willing to do more than care quietly. We have to act. Y'all being here is an act. So give a round of applause for yourselves. We all have the capacity to be an ally. Every single one of us. And let's be real, it's not always easy. It takes energy to fight for a cause that doesn't directly impact your day-to-day life. It takes humility to listen, and it takes courage to stand up, especially when people around you might not understand why. But I believe, and we believe, that real change only happens when we refuse to live in silos. When we recognize that our liberation, that your liberation is tied to mine. That your dignity uplifts my dignity. And that your struggle is my opportunity to act, to be an ally. We can't expect others to show up for us when we aren't showing up for them. That's just not a political statement. It is a community truth. And that brings me to the reason we're here right now, to recognize and welcome someone who has consistently shown up. Not just when the cameras were rolling, not just during an election year, but over and over again in real, tangible, thoughtful ways. And that is Mayor Lauren McLean. She is a glittery chido. For those who know what chido means, it means really cool. Example of what allyship looks like in public leadership. She is the 56th mayor of Boise and the first elected woman in the city's history to hold this office. In 2020, Boise elected a woman to lead our city for the first time. And today, she's proudly serving her second term. Please join me in giving a loud, joyful, and deeply grateful welcome to the Mayor of Boise, Lauren McLean.
Thank you, and hello everybody. Joel, I'm not sure where you went. Thank you. Really, really appreciate it. It is really an honor to be here. And I want to say hola a todos, todas y todes. It is wonderful to celebrate Boise's first Latinx Pride with all of you today. In what is one of my, and probably my favorite park that honors C. Sanders, a leader that we need today more than ever, but with a great legacy of taking care of people in this city and around this state. I'm sure that he's looking down and is so happy to welcome you all and to see you all in this special park today. In Boise, I want to be clear. We are a city for everyone, where everyone means everyone. It means each one of you that is here today, each one of you that is connected to you, folks that don't feel comfortable showing up. We have a place for them. They are safe and welcome and wanted here. And to the Latinx LGBTQ plus community, it is wonderful to see all of you here today, to see families here celebrating loved ones. I want you to know that on behalf of the city, our city council, myself, my husband Scott, who's here today, we see you, we welcome you, we love you, we need you here, and I am so glad that you call Boise home. So this is a great opportunity to celebrate a culture that makes Boise even richer than if we didn't have it, and that is the Latinx culture and community. And each one of and every one of you that identifies as part of that community, it's so wonderful to be here and to celebrate with you today. And I want to say that in these times that are uncertain, we're all feeling a little topsy-turvy, not sure what's going to happen next, what's up, what's down. In Boise, we are focused on the values and what I like to say the North Star of this place, which is putting people first, taking care of people, taking care of this place we love, connecting together, and through that we will make it through these tough times better for it, stronger for it, and more Boise than Boise's ever been. So thank you for celebrating today. I want you to know that with all that's going on, as I said, you are safe, you are welcome here. And I also want to make a nod to our law enforcement that's here today, because I am committed to continuing to strengthen the trust that we have in our community, especially with the immigrant community that right now is uncertain. We are here for you. You're protected and wanted, and I'm committed to ensuring that our law enforcement community continues to deepen those ties with each and every one of you, because that's the only way we will remain a safe and welcome city for everybody. So enjoy the celebration today. Thanks for being here. I hear there's an awesome after party that I will not be at, but I'm sure it'll be super fun. And thanks so much for the invitation to come say hello and celebrate with each and every one of us.
I'm just going to ask, I don't want to sound grumpy, but when we have council meetings, we ask that people not clap, respond, etc. It's a way for us to be able to speak up here, hear from folks when it is their time to talk. In this instance, this is a consent item. But really appreciate that everybody's here, and find that Boise's at our best when we're respectful to each other, and in a room like this, that's by silence. So I think that's just the easiest way to say it, so we can move on, continue on with our meeting. Appreciate seeing everybody here tonight. I'm going to call the meeting to order.
We gotta get you out of there.
Yeah. Again, please, this is a council meeting. We have been receiving a lot of comments from the community. This is the time for council members to have a discussion. I'm glad that you're here to watch, but I ask that you watch.
We're not here to watch.
Madam Mayor.
We've got a couple more people that need to speak, so I'm going to keep going through the line. Excuse me, ma'am. Please. Okay, we're going to take a couple minute recess so that we can come back.
Afraid of public comment?
And I'm going to have to ask, actually, during this recess, that if people are disrupting, they'll be ushered out into the lobby.
And when did you bring that issue up before? Did you ever come?
Yeah, I've talked all day.
I have to start recording.
It's been there for 10 years. You've never come forward to address the issue except the law that was just. It's not a pie. It's not like you're losing. But you're not. It's not a pie. Okay. Other people getting more rights does not take away.
What are you representing sexuality?
All right. Council Member Willis has some things to say.
I have a lot of thoughts about what to say tonight.
Oh, what happened to Hello?
Please. I appreciate the attention that was given Councilmember Willis in her remarks. Council President, before the council votes on resolutions, I don't vote unless there's a tie. Before the council votes, I just wanted to say a couple things. First off, a couple things before the vote to explain the proclamation, and then I'll add some more to that. But on April 28th, I signed an official proclamation that retroactively established 3 flags as official Boise flags. The blue flag, the one we love, with a monochrome image of the Capitol building and the words Boise City of Trees. The rainbow flag, commonly referred to as a pride flag, and the flag that represents and gives voice to the fact that we are a welcoming city, and a flag honoring National Donate Life Month. The day at which, as Colin just mentioned, the raising of it, we had quite a few residents of our community that were there because of the gift of organ donors. I myself learned so much on the plaza that day. So the proclamation has the legal effect of making the flags comply with HB 96. And I'd say this, we are changing the system because we must. Because in order for us to continue to use the story and remind all of us as a city who we are and to give voice to those values, we must change the system. And that includes adding additional flags to our list of official flags in the city of Boise. The resolution acknowledges and supports the proclamation, which is already made official. So tonight, this resolution acknowledges and supports that action that I took last week. First off, we don't agree with the bill, but the bill's a bill. But we don't agree that it's valid or enforceable. But we believe that this action, the proclamation that I did retroactively and the action today, has us in compliance with the law. And now, I have to thank all of you. For those of you that love the American flag as much as I do, for those of you that are here because you know what that flag says, that we have been flying for a decade. I appreciate all of you for being here. The feedback we have gotten since we ventured into this space has been overwhelming from local Boiseans in support of this. Because we know that that's not just a flag. We know it says who we are. And we know that this bill was about just one flag.
It's about the law.
We have 3 official flags in the city in response to the bill, but most importantly, because that action demonstrates who we are, the values we hold, our commitment to those seen and unseen, out not, that you are safe, welcome, and wanted here. That we are a city that is safe and welcoming for everyone, and will continue to fly the flags at City Hall that we have always flown. Thank you. And clerk, I'll ask you to call the roll. I appreciate the members of silence. No, we don't clap, we don't do the thing.
No, they did it.
Thank you all very much. Clerk? All right, thank you. The motion
Lucy
passes,
Willett,
so
opposed.
we will take a 5-minute recess so people can head about your evenings if you'd like.
Cool.
I love it. I love it. Great.